saying you're live. Holy smokes! It's quiet. Too quiet. It says. So we be playing. Jedi Order Fallen of Order. There's an order that is fallen, and it's Fallen Jedi of the Fallen Order. Just see how many times he can say it randomly.
Apparently, sources are saying that the next Star Wars film saga is to be set during the High Republic era, about 400 years before the Skywalker saga.
Really interesting. That's a fun era. I like that.
And won't actually make up a trilogy, but a series of films.
Oh. Well, I feel like Star
It
Wars
has potential.
I feel like Star Wars is on a higher up as of late.
Looks like my prediction came correct. It's not going to be. It wasn't going to be long before. It wasn't going to be long before it was going to. Wasn't going to be long before there was another set of movies on the rise.
What? Bow! Bow! What?
We live. We are so glad. We are so glad to be. We are so glad to be in. We are so glad to be in a good. We are so glad that this entire controversy that's come up in terms of YouTube has not been as bad as we suspected. So, Yoda Soda Creations podcast. Yoda Soda Creations podcast. Group of friends, Twitch and business. I can leave durations. Back in business, and it's January, so you know what that means. We've just joined in the trend of themed months. This is Miyazaki month.
Yay.
Getting our Fluttershy influence in, I see.
I admit nothing.
And I guess as the start of this month, we will be starting maybe a playthrough of Jedi Fallen.
No, that would have been more appropriate like a week ago.
Yeah.
To be fair, we started off with Beat Saber,
which is Star Wars themed, sort of.
Fair.
Of course, more direct.
Good old Studio Ghibli. What else can be said about them that hasn't been said? They're a great vehicle for creative ideas. Some of the Disney tubs have reached a hint of. Some of the Disney tubs have been questionable to some people. The visuals
as far as we can tell, we watched the original dub, so yeah.
The worlds they created just so mystical and reach such levels that Western companies don't exactly reach out for some reason. Sometimes the animation can be a bit choppy, but that's anime for you. Everyone has an opinion on Miyazaki, but most of them have been pretty favorable. And appropriately, this has been scheduled surprisingly well, considering that his birthday's coming up. so it seems only fitting to celebrate such a wonderful man by checking out a selection of movies that have influenced a lot of us. And we start off appropriately with the film that got me on board, Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, before tonight, I haven't actually seen this movie before, so yeah, this is new for me.
Same here, actually. First time watching through.
Though I was familiar with the main music of it.
I was not really familiar with any of it. I have seen a lot about it and lots of like clips of shots and different things. So it was nice to kind of put those shots into actual context. And I will be starting this thing up. I'm playing with an Xbox One controller, and we will be doing We'll be doing it on. I'll probably switch between story mode and Jedi Knight to keep it fast. If it gets too hard, I'll go to story mode, and if normal gameplay, I'll do on Jedi Knight. Here is our character. I have played through this game once, gotten most of the upgrades. I don't know if it overwrites the last save, so might have just overwrited my thing. Who knows?
If so, whoops.
Whoops. And we're playing on Epic because I have a new PC. Oh, that looks so much prettier than the first time I watched. Oh, it's running so smooth. By the way, this is some great music coming up here. All right. So this is a tutorial, obviously.
It seemed like the audio was desync.
Is it a bit desynced?
It seemed like it. It had like the robot talking, but the alien's mouse was moving.
How should we try to fix that? Let's see. If I just jump. It seems like it's kind of okay. Let me go back in. It looks okay. I'm getting a little feedback loop there. I guess we'll just continue for now.
Just that I pointed.
Okay, yeah.
So something to look over, or on your own.
Yeah, I'll work on. Yeah, when this gets done, yeah, I can work on it. Oh, a Luke or Hulk. Ooh. Oh. we going to run through the movie?
Hang on,
Yeah, but I won't be doing it this time. Cough.
Don't worry, Don't worry. Not only do I have a decent memory of this movie, but also I have the Wikipedia page up, so it'll be shouldn't be too bad. So we begin with an airship. Carrying a young orphan who's been abducted by a government agent. And then pirates come in. Led by Cloris Leachman.
Yeah, I have to admit, when I saw this part in the movie, it's like it seemed like it was part of like the middle of the movie.
You jump
Just
right
with
into
how
the
it was
action.
structured. Yeah.
Very, very action oriented, this movie, actually. There's quite a lot of action. More than I would expect for an animated movie, seeing as action sequences, stuff like that, are pretty intensive. This time.
And it seems there's something special about the girl that the pirates are after. And it has to deal with a small blue crystal pendant. but during the resulting
You okay?
in the resulting struggle, however, they lose the girl, but her descendant is slowed by a mysterious power within the amulet. And no, it's not radiation. Few establishing shots later, which again shows the how artistic Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli can get. And she safely lands in a small mining town discovered by a mining lad, voiced by James Vanderbeek, who sadly did not. Okay, let me try that again. Who actually took fifth place in the Dancing with the Stars? Who actually took fifth place in Dancing with the Stars this year?
Actually, yeah, I thought we were listening to the original dub and not the Disney one, since it like I mentioned before we started, there was a few changes. Or at least I watched the original dub. Which, to be fair, doesn't have quite as well known of a cast.
But yeah, she descends safely. She descends safely down into our young lads' arms. And our young lad is eventually introduced to her, and she's voiced by Anna Paquin. Of course, our young girl, Sheeta, actually gets a little curious about the surroundings. And eventually comes across the only picture of Potsu's father. Actually, managed to take a picture of the mysterious Laputa. And he aims to follow in his father's footsteps to discover the island. But then our pirates show up. But they just manage to slip out.
Yes, wearing a clever disguise.
Unfortunately, if you go to the cut on Kiss Cartoon, which I linked to these two, there's a few lines I remember that were unfortunately cut from that version.
Are you sure it's not because of because it's a different dub? As according to the wiki page, the Disney dub, there was a lot more banter added.
Most of it synced up pretty good, I think. Like the kid is a bit older sounding than you'd think.
Well, if it was the original dub, then Azu was actually voiced by Barbara Goodson, who you may know as the voice of Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers, as well as other various voices throughout gaming and anime.
Well, I'm pretty sure this Kiss version. Well, I'm pretty sure this Kiss version lost lost some of the probably the added banter, as you said. Probably the added banter, as you put it, because last few video releases I remember renting were not as cut out as they were.
I'm just gonna cross-reference the videos, so go on without me for a moment.
But that doesn't ruin some of the funny moments that come in during the little chase sequence. From a brawl breaking out in the village.
Ah, yes, the fight where the pirates completely forgot what they were trying to do in the first place.
Or at least that specific group. Because Cloris eventually discovers that they snuck at the back and headed for the railroad tracks. So they eventually make their way down there. It's as crazy as you would expect, but interestingly, from a account that I can, interestingly, from a certain account, Chicago-based, it's actually it is kind of reminiscent of classic cartoons like DuckTales and other adventure-based stuff like that. So you're kind of expecting that kind of action.
Yeah, I just checked your link. It's the same dub I watched, so it's the original dub.
Huh. Sweet. Anyways. They eventually come across the original Adapters, the army. And as the old saying goes, almost caught between a rock and a hard fall. But they just about managed to evade the pursuers, and once again, are lured safely via magic necklace into an abandoned mine. Or not so abandoned, as we eventually come across a friend of Patsu's. produced by being blind can actually sense special minerals within the rocks.
Yeah, it makes them glow and stuff.
And it seems they'll have a connection to Laputa.
Yeah, apparently the rocks start acting up whenever Laputa is near.
They've been to leave the mines. There's a interesting secret. But there's a bigger twist. But there's a bigger twist later. But ties in. Trust me.
Oh!
However, they're captured again by the army. Not Nazis. And in the fortress, we discovered that there's been another sign of Laputa in the close proximity. Seems a robot has mysteriously fallen to Earth.
Yeah, don't you just hate it when that happens? Yeah, ruins everything.
Oh!
And by the way, And by the way, the villains are only led by Joker and Ozai, but also Mr. Cummings.
At least if you're watching the Disney dub, anyway.
So there's a brief moment where the break scene. So there's a brief moment, but according to the wiki, says threatening life to attain cooperation. Hudson's at 3, heads back to the village. And turns out Leishman's made herself at home. But after hearing a little here out, they head out to try and intercept and rescue.
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I'm almost dead.
Back at the fortress, hanging on to the princess. Recites a verse, one of several that were taught my grandmother.
Oh my gosh.
Interceptor. Which unexpected, which
The
awaken.
necklace starts glowing, and the robot activates.
Yeah.
And the robot has lasers. Yay, lasers!
Ones that leave explosions in their wake, apparently.
Yeah, the base is just made out of explodium. You know, Michael Bay's favorite construction material.
So yeah, there's quite a lot of destruction, and some point after our heroine makes it outside.
At the top of a tower, to which the robot follows and destroys a good chunk of the tower along the way.
At some point, there's a beam of light pointing towards the floating island. At first, however, ground forces are not enough to stop the thing. But our heroes come in and rescue her just as the airship from the beginning, Goliath, manages the final blow.
But in the commotion, and she had dropped the amulet, and Muska picked it up. Oops.
But fortunately, there's a little something that comes a little later. But first, a little talk between our heroes as well as Cloris, and they come to an agreement that they all decide to head out in search of Lapita. Right, she does that towards the front to help with navigation. Part 2 is directed to the engine room, where we get the first of several indications that this may or may not have been inspiration for Sonic.
Yeah, during the rewatch, I joked that Dr. Robotnik really let himself go, because he has, like, the mustache and everything. And there's a few bits later that, like, may have also given them some inspiration. But I'll mention it when we get there.
Yeah. From memory, they managed to pinpoint pinpoint that despite the cursor pointing directly due east.
We're gonna play some Guitar Hero, baby.
There's a few other tidbits that involve end of grass cutting season, sun rising a little further south. Airway jams, apparently bigger ships are faster. Logically ride the trade wind according to certain calculations, and once the direction has been set, we just might be able to catch them. And once the course is set, our young heroine, once properly dressed, is sent to work in the kitchen area, like a lot of ladies.
Wow.
I just realized I forgot to press the talk button. I was looking back on the footage and I realized something about the pirates. So I now have a new group. I have a new name for their group, the Pink Pants Pirates, because they all wear pink pants.
Pink pants. Speaking of pink, there is a pink poncho. Can we get that? Ew.
So after a few broken bits, and it seems that our crew has a interesting thing for Sheeta. Also a funny bit where the two are playing chess and ooh look, checkmate. Anyway, at some point, Punch is swapping up for his turn at Crow's Nest Night Watch. Sheeta follows. A little bit more essentially, which again includes bits where she learns spells from Grandmama.
I landed right on top of him.
They just managed to evade the military who have been under the power the entire time. sometime afterwards, they managed to upgrade their watch post a bit. Eventually, it seems they be running a little off course, somewhat. Seems there's something confusing the compass. But thankfully, they're in close proximity to Laputa, because apparently there's a cloud cover that seems to dictate it. And during the ensuing dispute as to whether or not it'd be worth flying in there. Off the Goliath off the port bow! And our young heroes managed to break away out of sight. Oh, forgot to mention some of my favorite music when Goliath was underneath them. We'll collect it later. Plus a bit of an illusion. Land safely, and we get one of the best animated reveals I've ever seen.
Yeah, when it was all revealed, I joked that they landed on the Great Plateau and they need a glider to get down. What happens later will further add to that thing I mentioned, but I'll point that out when we get there. Also, if you don't know, that was a Zelda Breath of the Wild reference. Because I can't just assume everyone knows about the newest Zelda game.
So yeah, it seems they landed in the upper quadrant of the Mystical City, which is...
Yeah, it's gone through some rough times.
Basically somewhat reclaimed by nature. whereas the army has pretty much landed in the lower part of the city where the power is apparently held. But we'll get to that. But yeah, upon closer investigation, the party gets captured. But whereas Cummings and the soldiers are distracted by gold riches and the like. Once I know that's not what they were really there for. Turn over to discovered, Sheeta captured. Matsu, however, just evades the army.
We acquired BB-1.
And speaking of requirements, I fast through, and after that, he gets a one of those miniature cannons from earlier in the film.
Oh, the hand cannon?
Yes. Back to us, going through some more rather impressive architecture.
Well, it kind of got a bit, you kind of broke up there a little bit.
I said back with Muska, going through some rather impressive architecture. And he eventually comes across the quote-unquote inspiration for the Master Emerald.
Yeah, the thing that's keeping the whole island afloat. I joked that, oh, if you want to take down the island, just blow up the Master Emerald.
Which, it's not green, but okay.
Yeah, well, neither are most of the Chaos Emeralds.
I guess it technically does not need to be green. Look like I sucked the rat thing up in my in BB-8. analyze them.
So yes, here we get the next big twist. Seems as not one, but two of the Putin royal bloodline.
Yes, turns out Colonel Muska is actually Romaska Paolo Laputa. And I'm surprised I managed to get through that without a coughing fit.
So, display a power leader, which includes misleading the soldiers into a lower observation deck by the looks of it. I'm surprised that you did. I'm surprised that if you went. I'm surprised that you did another Death Star joke when he shot that cloud or ocean bit or whatever.
Eh.
But yeah, massive power at one's disposal, and naturally you'll end up.
Oh my gosh.
Betraying your colleagues to a point where the army is pretty much, well, mostly dead. I'd probably assume there's still a few still at the base.
Yeah, the group that was in the observation chamber, well, the floor opened up underneath them.
Lots of people die in this last act. Spoiler alert.
I was talking about the fortress earlier. I'd assume it was probably some people, select group that's still watching over that. While there's a majority of them. Obviously,
Also, the spare robots start attacking. I didn't say it during the call, but I was thinking like, oh hey, they're on the Great Plateau, and the Guardians are there firing lasers at people.
Oh.
I mean, you're... Sorry, coughing fit. They're on a floating island, which, okay, the Great Plateau isn't really floating, but it's like a great bit higher than the rest. And then you have a big robots that shoot lasers. So it's like, yeah, that fits.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention they also glide.
Of which some of the Guardians later near Hyrule Castle also fly. So the comparison still matches up. But back to the plot.
But yeah, majority of we get. But yeah, majority of we gets the genocide. But thankfully, thankfully, our thankfully our heroine manages to
Yoink the amulet away.
during which time
And so starts the chase.
During which time our young hero was attempting to get inside, but yeah, at one point he almost got in the way of the launch.
Yeah, he's hanging on for dear life on the roots that are just on the side of this thing. It's like, you must have a lot of strength because, like, wow, oh, you're holding on for a good long while. And the only magic is to getting due to basically damage boosting it into an open point.
But yeah, both of these runs lead somewhere to eventually meet up. There's a handoff.
Oh.
He just barely misses a shot.
Oh shoot! Oh my gosh!
But eventually it ended up in the third room, but attempts at reasoning don't quite go through because it's Ozai. I don't think he can possibly be reasoned with. But our young hero does return. Just a minute between the two. Words he's gonna regret.
Yeah, he gives them a moment to talk before the crystal gets handed over, and it's just all the time they need. Because turns out the spell of destruction has actually a very short, has a very short activation phase. I mean, you think you ought to set the self destruct for like a to take a bit longer to actually activate. You know, just to prevent accidents. You know.
That's what the blinding light did. Judder here's pecking through some roots that managed to keep them from falling. Well,
yeah, the crystal, the giant crystal shoots upwards, and the place just starts to collapse.
I was also gonna say our colonel on the other hand. I was going to say a krill on the other hand was temporarily blinded and just in time to see it. Just in time to see his Emperor crumble along with him.
Okay.
Also, Army was distracted during the escape phase that the pirates actually managed to get back into the
Got back into the wreck of a ship. But they have those little old flyer things in there, so they have a way to escape.
Yeah. Your heroes wake up, discover that in the ensuing quake. Apparently the kite seems to have fallen into the lower parts, and they use that to launch off.
Yeah, luckily they didn't fall down because they got caught on some of the roots. But yeah, they're safe, and the pirates got away safely, and they all meet up, and everything's happy.
Even a fun little twist where apparently they managed to get away with some of the riches. All good pirates, isn't it, Ma?
And the island floats up into space where all the animals died.
Mm. But yeah, our heroes eventually go their separate ways. And interesting in the versions that we watched, apparently the end credits are not present. I'm surprised you didn't make this joke. Could have been a nice screensaver.
I haven't thought about that.
But yeah, still
I
has.
just sat down in water.
But yeah, still as artistic, imaginative, and as fascinating as I remembered it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It was very good. Sorry for not talking very much.
Yeah.
He's dead. You guys. He's dead.
I've been coughing on and off all night, so it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be doing much speaking. Like, this is a cold that will not go away.
Oh, hello. What?
One of these days, someone needs to make a game with realistic lightsaber physics where it's like, uh-oh, you hit the leg. Well, there it goes. It won't be balanced in any sense of the word, but it would be fun.
I do like the stormtroopers are like they have the light batons, meaning like they can't actually deflect you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they're like 2 hit. You like with the lightsaber. You know what I mean? And a normal storm, like it's literally. So it feels like a lightsaber when you're fighting, because you're like, oh, dead. But they do shoot at you, which is not very nice.
Don't worry, I have my lightsaber set to stun.
It's okay. Doesn't feel that bad. Workshop. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. His feet are in the ground. Dathomir. Doc.
Doc.
It was super colorful, the movie, I thought, which is really fun, and an extremely creative movie, if you know what I mean.
Well, it is a Ghibli film, so, that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah, I love just the ships. They're just so cool. Like, just, they're all they're filled with character, life, and, they just feel lived in, as everyone always says about Star Wars. It's a very lived in universe. I always love like mines and like bridges and stuff like that as well. So I really love that chase sequence on the in the caves and over the caves and stuff. So down here is an insanely hard boss. So I'll probably die. So let's try this.
Do it.
Oh my gosh. Ah! Yeah. Like that hard. Restore.
One hit kill.
Yeah. 2-hit kill. Do we try it again? We're gonna do it till I win. There's a
Remember,
there's
the
a
most important thing. Dodge!
Parrying is pretty important as well in this game. Because you get like a split second where you can hit him. I think you can drop down on his head. Yeah. Yeah. Like. What?
Also, don't get backed up against a wall.
Like this. Oh. Okay.
Doing good.
Shoot. Ah! Frick! I was this close.
Oh.
Well, now you know you can theoretically do it.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Lots of dodging. This one is a lot of more dodge heavy than parry heavy. A lot of the
Told you.
A lot of stormtroopers are more parry heavy because you get like they bounce. They're kind of like and you can smack them when they're falling backwards. There's an incredibly important item if you fight this boss. Oi! Oi! No! Where am I? Oh, shoot. Oh.
Quick, use an Estus flask.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Do 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 do.
Oh shoot! I just realized I don't think I can slice it. Oh my gosh! I can't slice it. I just realized. Never mind. We're gonna have to come back for that in the future.
But at least it's dead. Unless it revives, in which case it won't be dead.
It just comes back to life.
I mean, hey, if Palpatine can do it, why not this thing?
I guess so.
In fact, who's to say Palpatine won't come back again in the future? I mean, he's done it once before. See, that's the bag of worms they opened. If you bring him back without explaining it, who's to say he won't do it again?
We can't. So we could go down here. Forgot how they get up there.
So the news desk. I think we already mentioned another wave of films coming.
Oh yes, you did. You wanna
Yeah,
talk about
not so much a new trilogy, but just a series of films set like 400 years before the Skywalker saga or something like that.
Which ties into my prediction. Which ties into my prediction if it was. Which ties into my prediction. It was going to be the end for now. It was going to be the end for now. Back in December, I had a hunch they wouldn't just give up there.
Yeah. If they actually do the whole old Republic or New Republic or something like that.
Or at the very least, slightly older Republic.
Yeah. I have always kind of liked that. It's been one of my kind of favorite time periods and stuff like that. I love the Republic. It's a fun era. And there's a bunch of lore already there for their picking. Lots of Jedi, lots of it's more if they go off of the games and stuff, it's super mythical in a way, you know what I mean?
Of course, with how things have been going, it'll turn out the big bad will be a time traveling revived Palpatine.
Yeah. It's all been Palpatine, all
Palpatine, all the time.
It's the what are these called in Pokemon?
Eevees?
Eevees. Yeah, they're Eevees. You're standing a bit weird. Oh, we're walking a bit weird. Okay.
Speaking of which, remember that one moment in the film where you called Pikachu's?
Pikachu's. What is that?
I don't necessarily say it was more Eevee.
Well, whatever it is, it's dead now. Unless, of course, like the crystal also provides like a livable little atmosphere up there.
It's like a force field generator.
From what I could tell, there were indications. From what I can tell, that's a pretty strong indication.
What about the birds? And they just fly outside of it and they...
Yeah, if they do that, they're dead.
Oh,
And then the robot will... Okay, the non-fine ones will be there, but if they die off, then the robot will be left all alone.
Look at this. This is kind of cool.
Ooh, future Rubik's Cube.
A space cube.
Also, on the news desk, the live-action Avatar series is close to release. And by that I mean Last Airbender, not James Cameron.
Yeah, it was in production last year.
All right. I think it's a good place to end it off right here. Because we have to jump to the next planet and we get more cutscenes. So, probably want to wait on that. But yeah, very good movie. We will be doing another one, it sounds like, next week. Is that what I've heard?
About next week. About next week. Are you... Are you actually...
Yes.
About next week. Nate, are you willing to join us next week up in Richmond?
How long is it? I haven't taken any days off, and I don't have any days. I've run out. How many days? Is it the weekend?
Ten, 11, and 12.
10th, 11th. I see. I wouldn't be able to make 10th. I don't know about 11th and 12th. those off, Saturday and Sunday. So I might be able to come down. I guess I'll think about it for the week.
Well,
Yeah, it's like I joined, but 1 money, 2 passport, and 3 work.
Yes, you need a passport, don't you?
Hope we can drive yourself across the border.
Well, I don't know.
And I don't drive. Although that is something I'm working on. Well, I plan on working on. So I'm guessing next week will be maybe Saturday, possibly Sunday, depending on internet connection.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay, it's like yeah, next week. The Miyazaki film I've actually seen before.
Which one is it?
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
if I remember correctly, I actually won a DVD of that at OMSI once.
I have not seen, I don't think, any of them, so all of them are new for me, to be honest. I think, except I watched Totoro, right? That's one of them? I did watch that.
Nope.
One. I was not.
That's not on the list.
Well,
Guess I should have meant. Worth mentioning that I do remember an advertisement for this one, but it wasn't of course until Castle in the Sky that I got more understanding of the people behind it. But before we get too far away from Vancouver, I found something interesting. Spirit non-attending registration. For those who wish to support the con but are unable to attend, this is a way to support Vancouver while picking up some sweet swag, including his abandoned lanyard button and convention book. You also have the option to buy other merchandise from the store and have it shipped within North America for free or worldwide for just $10.
interesting. Yeah, I might do that. Might buy a shirt or something. Either way, I'm sure there will be a video coming from there. I expect. Alex, you always take good videos. If we want, we will continue. If you guys storyline through Jedi Fallen Order, it's not that long a game, but it would be several streams, so maybe we'll spread it out. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. I might just pop in and out, meaning maybe I'll play some of it, and then it might be a bit disjointed, so maybe we'll play it a bit out of order, but we'll see, I guess. I'm also planning on learning Blender eventually, so maybe we dip our toes into 3D art eventually, but that's for the future, I would say.
Speaking of 3D stuff, I was actually kind of looking at a 3D printer to maybe get in the future at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if you do, because I got a bunch of those. I'm into the printing.
Yeah, I was looking at the Prusa Mini.
Okay, yeah. I don't have any Prusas. I have a Anycubic Photon, which is my resin printer, and I have a Cura CR10. I have thought about getting a new FDM printer, which is filament based, meaning melting plastic, like the Prusa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost want like a bigger filament nozzle and a larger printing bed, so that I could do like armor or something. I could do like sets of armor. That'd be kind of cool.
Right. Maybe you could post the models you have for the 3D printers in the Discord chat, so I can look those up.
Oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. The pony ones mainly.
No, I mean the printers.
The printers. Yes, I could do that. I would suggest looking around a bit too, because they're quite common. Both printers I have are the cheap, common ones, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean if they work for you.
Yeah, they got a big community base online, meaning a lot of people have them. So if something goes wrong, a lot of times you can find online what suggestions on how to fix it, which I've had to do a couple times where you're like, I don't know what happened, and they're like, here, just try this or try this. It might be this, it might be this.
But yeah, it probably won't be for a while because like the first purchase I'm doing is my my sponsor badge for Everfree.
Ah, are you doing 1,000 one?
No, just like the 300.
Just like 300.
Also secured my attendance badge for Everfree, so that's out of the way.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the budget. It kind of gets freed up around February and March, so I'll probably buy it around then.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I tend to have my budget planned out like a while ahead. Probably because as most of my budget spending involves a mobile game that I have about 6 months of foresight into. Yay, Japan being 6 months ahead. Woo! It's a decent money sink.
A couple things about the news just before we depart for the week. Did anyone watch the Jeopardy special earlier this week?
Nope. I've been watching Zeldathon all week.
Fair enough. Fair enough. In any case, it's a nice little tribute to. It was a nice little tribute to Trebek, as well as going behind the scenes of how Jeopardy is handled nowadays.
Ah.
And finally, leaning towards the pony spectrum. I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but Ambient White has a new demo.
What now?
I haven't spread that.
Oh, also, also on a pony related topic, if you're subscribed to the Humble Monthly Bundle, or as it is now the Humble Choice Bundle, January's selection includes Them's Fighting Herds. If you don't know, it was originally the My Little Pony fighting game, but they got cease and desisted, so they got Lauren Frost to help it and create new characters, and now it's its own little thing by itself now.
I was aware of that.
Just thought I'd point it out.
I can definitely remember when Dr. Wolf was doing readings of the Book of Lore. Hopefully the chat received that.
most of the news. Would you like to close us out, Alex?
So yeah, hopefully we'll sort something out. Hopefully sort something out for next week. As means like a month continues with Kiki's delivery service. Until then, take care.
Later.